So, Tansay, this is Robert Falconer, Member of Parliament for Winnipeg Centre. I'm here in Nain, Labrador at the National Inuit Youth Summit, which is being put on by the National Inuit Youth Council. And here I am with Sharon Ruben, sorry. Anyways, Tansay, I'm not sure what you say in Ituktituk, but anyways, I'm very pleased to be here with you.
Yes.
You're actually one of the top national rangers. You actually just you won an award to be appointed the top ranger in the country just in last June in Yellowknife.
Whitehorse.
So how did you actually get involved in the Rangers program? And if people don't know what the Rangers program is, actually, could you explain it, Ashley?
Yes.
What the Rangers program is?
It's the Senior Canadian Ranger. Well, we're called 1CRPG,
Yeah.
First Canadian Ranger Patrol Group. The reason why we're called 1 is because the NWT was like the first ones to have the senior ranger groups. And I heard there's 5 CRPGs, so there's 1 CRPG, 2 CRPG, 3 CRPG, and it goes all the way up to 5. And we're the first ones to hold up the Junior Canadian Ranger program, and we had it for 20 years.
You've been doing that for 20 years, or your community has been doing that for 20 years. Now, the Rangers are actually a component of the Canadian Armed Forces. So, obviously, the Canadian Forces is generally in the south end of the country, and the Rangers are up in the northern part.
Yeah.
And you actually defend Canadian sovereignty. So, the Canadian state actually relies on Inuit people to defend Canadian sovereignty. And so, really, it's Inuit sovereignty that the Canadian state relies on to be Canada.
And what they call us is the eyes and ears of the north.
The eyes and ears of the north.
Yes, that's what we're called.
So how did you get involved in the Rangers?
Well, my father was the senior ranger when we first started in like 80 something. I can't remember what year, but my father was a ranger. My 2 brothers were rangers, my 2 sisters, and they're all older than I am. So I got into that as soon as I turned of age to be a senior ranger. And while we were out in Whitehorse, I didn't expect to get the top ranger award. We had 1 through 5 CRPGs out there. And every community had 2 rangers per groups out of 1 through 5. And I didn't expect to get the top ranger award.
And it's pretty prestigious to even go to Yellowknife, because a lot of people obviously want to go and not everyone can go.
Exactly, yeah.
Pretty exciting. So why did you become involved in the Rangers? Obviously your father got you involved, but why did you stay in it? Because you've been involved over 6 years?
Yes. I kind of like doing what we do as a senior, like in our community. We have exercises 2 times a year, like 1 in the summer, 1 in the winter, or 1 in the fall and 1 in the spring. But every 6 months we have exercises.
Yeah. And the exercises, and so you have a lot of Canadian Forces members as well. Do they come up and work with you, or you're all by yourselves as the Rangers?
Well, I work with my sergeant in Politic. I just got chosen to be the Master Corporal for the Junior Rangers. The one we had before, she had to step down because of her job. Like, she's not able to always make it out on these trips, so we're making our JCRs lose out on all kinds of trips like this. So she backed down and she opened up the spot for somebody who's available to take these kids out.
Yeah.
And then there is 2 of us that were actually going for it. But the other guy that was trying to go for it, he had like medical issues and he couldn't take the kids out. So I was the one that got they nominated me to take the kids out.
So you're also it's a youth leadership program that you're also doing and training young people. Is that hard, training young people?
Yes, it is. Especially if you're dealing with like the ages 12 to 16. It's kind of hard to keep them on track because they're so easy to get sidetracked by things that they haven't seen in their communities.
And your community, where do we find it?
Way up north.
Where? NorthWest Territories?
Yes, NorthWest Territories, yes.
Oh, wow. And is it on the coast or is it just inland?
Inland, yes.
Inland. And with the Rangers, you go out twice a year. How long do you go out for the exercises?
About 2 weeks the most.
That's a long
And
time.
we also do exercises in our home communities. Like we get a ranger instructor out of Yellowknife that's based in Yellowknife. He comes out to Polytech and he does the exercise with us. And we have what you call a type 1 and a type 2.
Yeah.
I can't remember how it goes, but I think the type 1 is where a ranger instructor flies down to our community. He doesn't like train us. He's just there to do like payouts and get us everything we need before we go.
And what does for Canadian sovereignty that you do? What do you receive a pay or anything for
Yes,
the Canadian
we do.
forces?
Yes.
How much is it, like generally?
It all depends. Like for me, I make 137 a day being a JCR Master Corporal.
And you do it probably a couple times once a week, or?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
And every month we have to do a little bit of training with these kids, and we have to do it like a month at least before we could, because you have to apply for funding through your program.
Yeah.
And like say if I wanted to teach the kids sewing or wanted to take them out on the land, then I'd have to like write up letters, send them out to the Yellowknife JTFN to see if we could get approved for these things. And what they do is they send us up the money or the materials that we need, and then we could host the exercise there at home without having a ranger instructor there with us.
Lots of bureaucracy.
Yes.
And JTFN, that's Joint Task Force North.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So for those listeners who are just kind of wondering what those military terms are, you seem very well versed in it. And I have a little thing for you, Sharon. Since you're the top ranger in Canada, at the camp there, I'd like to give you a little medal from Winnipeg Centre as the Member of Parliament. So it's
Oh, wow.
a little medal I had produced, and here you go, because I know that we need more youth leaders like you and people who care about our communities and
Yes.
who do great things like you and who are involved.
The only reason I got involved with it, I wasn't really a Master Corporal. Last year I took the kids out to Whitehorse in June. I was just a regular ranger. And then after I got back home, we had to do a nomination to make somebody become our Master Corporal because we didn't have one. So we have a sergeant for the Senior Ranger Group, we have a Master Corporal for our Senior Ranger Group, and we also have a Master Corporal for the Junior Ranger program. And that's the one I got, as the JCR one.
So on your strong shoulders fall the responsibility of training our youth. That's fantastic. Anyway, Sharon, pleasure meeting you.
Yes, you too.
Yeah, and what are you wearing, by the way? What's this?
Utiklu.
An Utiklu.
Utiklu, yes, a parka cover.
It looks fantastic.
Yes, thank you.
Tapwekikitwam.
Yes, take care. Thank you.
Thanks.